Alright, I made you guys the video about my fruits. Now let's talk about my vegetables, my raised beds. Moved in last year and I dug a pot spot right here in the yard. Just tilled it in the grass. Last year there was actually St. Augustine grass through all of this. It was beautiful, and then we had a drought. There's my dog strutting her stuff. Hope y'all like it. Anyway, my wife decided she didn't like the hole in the yard, and it was kind of tacky. And I did have big pine trees. There's a great big pine tree right about there. Two big pine trees over yonder. Got them cut down and removed, and redid everything, so it looks good. Started with first raised bed. I built this one here last August, just getting ready for fall garden. Filled it with a combination of hog and horse and donkey and goat manure, what I could get for free, and then topped it off with a big layer of leaf litter that I had been composting and whatnot, and man, it has turned into just the most incredible soil. So when I'm in the garden center and they want to sell you garden soil, I'll show you what garden soil is. This is what the garden centers call garden soil. It's nothing but mulch and sand and clay. It is the most pathetic garbage I've ever bought and put in a garden. But, I don't know, give it a couple years for those wood fibers to break down and maybe it'll be worth something. I just buy it out of necessity because down here there's nowhere good to buy good topsoil. It's all really sandy or clay. So, I just buy it. It's enough to get me by. Anyway, had all this planted in spring greens, and I'm actually doing really good with intensive gardening on this patch here with some of the first stuff planted. And I had radishes on it, and broccoli. Sprouted the broccoli from seed. Harvested the broccoli, dug it, replaced it with potatoes. Had some really gorgeous potatoes here. They got 3 foot tall and they bloomed even, which is a good sign for potatoes. And then I had a furious outbreak of cutworms, and the cutworms consumed everything. I mean, absolutely everything, before I could even know what to do with them. Trying to be organic, it's not very easy to kill cutworms, but I've been using BT and it seems to be working pretty good. But I just dug all the potatoes since the cutworms ate all the vines. I figured they weren't going to grow any more spuds. And I didn't get a whole lot. But now I am replanting with sweet corn. Planting number 4. This was my first sweet corn, planted too early, so hardly any of it sprouted. And what did only grew to be about 3 feet tall. But I've got an ear of corn on. And I might even harvest that one soon. It might be ready to go. Second planting of corn, much better. About 5 foot tall now. Third planting of corn, fourth planting of corn. So I built this raised bed, got it all planted up and full, all my onions, green beans. The green beans are a second crop. They replaced lettuce. There's even some garlic spliced in there, and there was carrots. Actually, the green beans replaced the carrots. The garlic replaced the lettuce. And down yonder I've got more green beans and some peppers where I did have lettuce and spinach. So this bed was full. Had a hoop house. Man, I wish I'd have made a video of my hoop house. I just tore it apart last night. That's what the plastic's from. I had a little quarter circle hoop house. It worked pretty good, got me through the winter. So this one's full, so I begged and pleaded. Wife told me I could build a second bed here. So I did. Planted it with the tomatoes that I sprouted from the seed, and they are growing out of control. I wish I'd have only planted about 1 and not 8, because this is a tomato beast, not a tomato plant. You can look in there, there's some wire cages in there somewhere, but this thing, I've gone through once already, and I just chopped the whole thing off, top of the cage. I just went through, regardless of blooms, fruit, everything, just cut it back, because it was growing faster than I could keep it cut back. And 3 weeks later, it's like I never even cut it. It's all back. This thing is just out of control. This bed is lined with horse manure. That explains it. They love the high nitrogen in the horse manure. Strawberries. Also got those, dug them for free from my father-in-law, so he's been helping me out with some free plants. And they're still getting ate up by cutworms or something. I don't see any more worms on them, but you can see the leaves are just full of all these little pinholes. I don't know what critters are after them, but they've already mostly fruited, set the runners. There's a few little green berries on them, but I think they're pretty well done. And I got me some okra from seed, like garlic, which that garlic I don't think is going to do anything. I sprouted in a flower pot, so I didn't have space for it yet, and then I transplanted it all into here. and I think it was pretty bad root bound when I transplanted it all, and it hasn't really gotten a whole lot bigger since I planted it. And I know garlic's more of a cool season crop, so I don't know how it's going to do through the summer down here. I should have planted it last fall. All the marigolds I sprouted from seed and didn't know what to do with them, so I interplanted them with the corn. And actually it worked extremely well because I don't have to weed the corn. And I've been harvesting my marigold seed. As lame as it is and as cheap as you can buy that stuff, but my goal is to fill a quart jar with it. And that's going to be easy because this stuff is just blooming and seeding and blooming and seeding. So then this bed was full. So I begged and pleaded and begged and pleaded and begged and pleaded, and finally talked my wife into letting me build the last bed. And did the same thing, lined it with horse manure, topped it off with quote-unquote garden soil, planted it, corn, zucchini, peanuts, more corn. Those are all various plants, tomatoes, peppers, and mums that I've made with taking cuttings, put my aquaponics system to root the cuttings, and then planted them. Now I don't know what to do with them, they're probably just going to die. Mr. Stripey tomato, Better Boy, I think, yellow pear tomato, jalapeno pepper, and I think a sweet banana pepper or hot banana. Beefsteak tomatoes that I grew from seed, then didn't have space to plant. I'm basically just letting them sit here and die. I don't know what to do with them. I just keep forgetting to dump them out in the compost pile. Sweet potatoes that I sprouted. Planted them out too early, so they got kind of dwarfed, but now they're starting to come back, and again, something is just consuming the leaves like crazy. The rest of them that I left on the spud, I left the jar in the spud with the vines on it in the garden for about 3 weeks in the full sun, and then I got these lovely little guys, which are off the same spud, but they look much healthier, much better quality sweet potatoes than these. So hopefully I get some sweet potatoes since they're a southern crop. Hope and pray. Last thing I'll show you all is my sprinkler system, which I'm very proud of. Runs off that same main line that I showed you by the blackberry plant in the last video. Comes over here into my bed, tees off, and I just have the black irrigation lines that lay either side. And they're not designed like this, but it works like this. I drilled a hole just a hair smaller than the nipple and threaded this thing in. This is a 90-degree head. Over there's a 90-degree head that does the corners, and then the rest of these orange ones here is a 180-degree head. And I've got these just spaced down the length of the bed. And it puts out a really good mist kind of water rather than, you know, a garden hose or something that can knock the plants over and hurt them. So I just kick those on for about an hour, and it waters really well. I've dug down in the soil to check and make sure it's getting good depth on it. And I've got it rigged up that I can run it with the sprinkler pump off my rain barrel, so I'm not even using city water hardly anymore. And that was my goal. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like to be creative. The whole urban gardening thing has got me really, really creative, but it's fun. It's much different than the half-acre garden out in the country that I used to have. Here's my birdhouse gourd and cucumbers, both of which I am trying to train up this lattice, but they are growing really slow, really, really slow. But I want that birdhouse gourd to start putting out, and my goal is to actually harvest the birdhouse gourds and see if I can't make birdhouses. I think that'd be fun, and I could probably sell them if I find the right sucker. I mean, the right creative gardener. I think that's it. Oh, up there on the porch, I got a couple topsy-turvies. I don't recommend those things. I've had mixed results and mixed satisfaction on them, but honestly, I'm gonna let what's in those things die and probably never replant them because they're just, it's not good quality. I don't like it. Sorry, topsy-turvy. There's a crepe myrtle tree, if you guys know anything about those. Good God, I scalped that thing bald about the 1st of April. And it's like something out of a Dr. Seuss video, or Dr. Seuss book. I mean, they just grow, grow, grow. You can't kill them. Don't even try. Alright, well, I think that's everything. See y'all.